I need to come up with a new catchphrase. Bam! No, that one's spinning. What the hell is that? Well, folk, no, that one's spinning. What in the hell is that?
I hear you're pretty good at fixing trains.
Oh. Yeah, I am pretty good.
Can you fix this one?
What's the deal with the balloons?
I like balloons.
I'm Ron. Welcome back to another episode of Classic Model Trains. Had a lot of fun with that intro. Why would I do something like that? It's October. It's Halloween time. One of my favorite times of the year. Decorate, have a bunch of fun. I think all the videos that I put out this year, I'm gonna put a little Halloween theme, something or another in them all. Today, I got my steam gear on because we are fixing a steam locomotive. The 1972 Lionel Allegheny train set. The sounds of diesel in it. This set came in that vintage store find, and I did a video of it here about a couple months ago. Got it test driven on my test track. Got a chance to fix it up, show you guys a little bit about it. This particular Lionel set, it's from the MPC era. That's when General Mills ended up buying Lionel because they filed for bankruptcy in 1969 due to dwindling sales because nobody's playing Model Railroad anymore. General Mills. You know what else General Mills makes? You Boo Berry and Captain... Oh my goodness, yeah. My favorite Halloween cereals that only used to come out during Halloween back in the day. I think they're available all the time now. Let's get started on the test drive and what we got to do with this thing. This is the 1972 Allegheny Action Master with the sounds of steam. It's got the little speaker inside of it. Let's just give this thing a test drive and see what it's going to do. Oh my. Oh. Will it reverse? Holy shit. This one's actually sort of working. Oh, is this thing going to smoke too? Yeah. Oh, B. You can almost hear the sounds of steam. So this one's just going to need a little bit of lubrication on it. General servicing. Oh. It's a heavy bugger. Wonder what this thing comes in at. Oh my goodness. 3 pounds. Almost 2 ounces. Golly. Yeah, you throw that across the room with your little brother, that they're going to know. I see it's also got a traction tire right under here. That's fun. To get this drive out of this 8142, it took me a while to figure this out. Best thing to do is remove the side rods first. 1/4-inch nut driver. Don't lose this bushing right here. It won't work if you do that. Another one over here. Take that out. Gonna leave these alone. There's 2 screws up under here under the pilot. This will get the front pilot out of the way. And then this steam rod right here, you gotta pull it back and get that out of the way. For those of you that are interested in how this steam puffer works, as this goes around and around and it pushes back and forth, poof, 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 and it will make the smoke puff out from a little bellow. Engineering at its finest. Right here. Take this screw out. There's 2 screws that hold the front cow catcher on. They've got to be loosened just a little bit. Just some, not very much. And then this unit will come out like this. Pull it forward. Get your trailing truck off by lifting it up, pulling it out like that. And here is our motor assembly. We'll get this out of the way. This will of course be the light smoke unit. And there's also a contact under here, you can see it right there, that when this thing chugs, it closes that contact, and that's used for the sound of steam to make the static go tsk, 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 tsk. This other wire, of course, it runs off to the back. Oh, look, plastic gears, my. So how far's a guy got to take something like this apart to clean it? I don't know. I think we should at least take the brushes off. Look inside there. Here's a bearing cap over here. Let's look at that. Oh yeah, look. Broken plastic. That makes me happy. Golly. Move these 3 screws for the brush holder. Here we got a couple brushes. I don't know if this was the right way to go about doing this. And there is our armature. So we'll clean this surface up here with some mineral spirits, clean out all this extra oil and grease off of it. Our wheels are held together with this bolt gear here in the center. They definitely seem to be freewheeling enough. Electrical contacts. I'm not going to take this frame apart because it is riveted. Well, it's not riveted, but it's swedged together, and I just am not, no. So we'll do some Q-tip and mineral spirits on it and clean up all the old stuff the best we can. We'll get this smoking unit out of the way just so it doesn't have to be flopping around while I'm busy working on this here. As simple as this looks, I thought it wouldn't take very long to clean up, but it took a little while. I'm really happy with the way everything came out. You sit here with the Q-tip with the mineral spirits and make sure to clean the wheels, spin the contacts, and clean them up. Try to get all the grease out of these gears as much as you can, just because the old stuff and the wheels, they're pressed in, and I don't want to unpress them because I don't have those tools. So there's really no way to disassemble this any farther than this to clean it up. The armature, got the little pencil on the end of it to whoop it into shape. Took the mineral spirits and cleaned the brushes all the way around. And then this little idler gear here, got it taken apart. Toothbrush, some Dawn dish soap, scrub that all up. I'm gonna have to glue this little piece on here. Better get on that right now. And then I took a toothbrush with some Dawn dish soap after these wheels because there was something that looked like leftover fried eggs. You know that part that's left in your cast iron pan after you've served the eggs? That's what it looked like in there. So I carefully cleaned out the spokes of those wheels and dried it off and made sure everything got dry so this would look pretty. Next thing I'm going to do is service up this reversing unit right here. It looks like we can get it out. And I think I can throw this on the track and give you guys a little better idea on how it works. A couple screws will pull the reversing solenoid out of the frame here. You can see this plunger right here. And this is where the electromagnet part is at. Whenever there's juice applied to this coil, it pulls this up. But every time, it'll switch it. And it switches between these two contacts right here, sending juice down a different way to go into this coil for the motor magnet. So if this coil is hanging up for not coming out, because it sits up and down like this, so gravity does it. You gotta keep this clean. Give all this stuff just a little taste of oil, and then these slides down under here. Oh yeah, that's working quite a bit better. Right here is one of the contacts that this relay is gonna connect to. When I put the juice to it, you see the contact shows up right there? So underneath of this right here, I'm going to put some of this here premium carbon conductive grease on there just to help with that contact taking place here on this reverser solenoid. And then if you get underneath here, you can see the electromagnet dropping back and forth, and that's what helps switch this thing. My God, can I talk about reversing solenoids or what? You should see me in social situations. Yeah. Let's lube this thing up. Put it back together. Got this multi-purpose synthetic grease. I think I'm going to put some on that shaft. I'm going to put these screws back in over here, and I'm going to make sure that I tighten them down tight enough to re-break the plastic that I've repaired. Yep, sure enough. It's just hard to get good stuff. Now seems to be an excellent time to grease all this stuff also. Oil it, grease it, oil it, grease it. I think I'm going to put some of this on. Start working this through the system. These exposed gears here, how much should a guy put on? I don't know, how much dirt do you want to pick up off your track and spread it through all your gears? What's the number? Too much? A little bit less than too much, I guess, would come to mind. Not very helpful, I apologize. I'll let myself out. Now I want to grease these axles clear up inside here with just a little taste. Seeing as how we can't take it apart and get to them. We're also going to want to grease this bull gear. Put a little bit on this feller here. It's a little drive gear that's on the armature. Now, I don't really see any way to, there's guys that have been doing this a lot longer than I have that might know a better way to do this. Maybe you bend this out of the way right there. Maybe you bend this up and then you drop the brushes in and then you push this down and then you bend that back down. Maybe you could put the brushes in from this way and then assemble it. I guess I'll try both ways. I'll try this way first. See which one might or might not work the best. This brush has got little lines on them. You want to line those up with the brush springs. Keep them from rotating. Locked in there. How is this going to work? Can I just sandwich this all together? So far, I'll have to take a look and see if anything falls out before I test drive it. Like that one motor I did. The learning curves. This one wasn't so steep. That seemed to work out pretty good, actually. I think I might stick with that. Give this armature just a little bit of oil here on the end. These white wires, they had them all tucked up, knotted together inside here. Keep them out of the way of the wheel. I wonder what this does. If it turned off the smoke, then it also turned off the light. Maybe we should take a multimeter reading on it and see. Does it lock it out so that it can't reverse directions? Seemed kind of silly. Sure enough, it turns that coil off so you can never stop it from changing directions. I can't understand why anybody would want to do that. That boggles my mind. I'll put a little E-tape on the side here to keep these wires up where they belong. Put this upside down, get your rear truck put in, and then you hinge it in here. Wait a second. My sounds of steam wires got to be on that side. So we put this in, we get the wire going out the back side there. Work on all this silliness, getting it in there. Pinch as many wires as you can so you can take it apart and do it again. This smoking unit is, I just wonder if is it worth it? I don't know. Okay, wires are clear where these tabs go in up in the front. Tabs underneath the front cow catcher. Jiggle it, hold your mouth just right. Smoker's got to go in just so, someplace. I mean, if it's gonna hassle you, it's gonna have to do it all the way. Nope. There it is. Sure. Make sure this little screw hole's lined up in here. Get this guy in. Pull your rods back all the way. There's these two holes right here that these rods here have to go into for that realism. Yes. No. Yes. Alrighty then. Get these pilot screws in. Don't forget about your little ground wire up here. You should have took all your wires out of the way. Now all we got left is the side rods. What in the... How did that happen? That son of a bitch went out of time. Especially when I wasn't looking. I know what happened. One of these wheels up here is really loose. You can see this is moving back and forth. It's splined on there. But what it ended up happening is that then it let this wheel slip out past this bull gear, and then it got out of time a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drip some Loctite in there, make sure I got the gauge correct, and then try to Loctite this. So I guess I'll take this apart, Loctite it, let her sit for a little bit and solve that problem. But now we've got this locomotive put back together. Which way does this go? This goes with the arrow facing forward. Let's turn our attentions to this sound of steam tender. It's got one little screw right up in the front here to take out, and then you can just tip the body off like this. Now, they weren't nice enough to make it where a guy could actually pull this wire through, so you get to drag this around. Little tiny simple board, amplifier circuits, and something that makes it go shh, and this sweet speaker. One of the downsides of these is that this material underneath here has a tendency to deteriorate over time. It allows these pins to touch this metal frame, which is grounded, and short this board completely out. So this stuff's got to be cleaned off, and you need to find a new insulative material to put underneath there to keep this board from doing its thing. Some guys say cardboard underneath there, I suppose glue it in. Something to keep this from grounding out on that. Well, I rubbed on her with this toothbrush here, and all this stuff just kind of flaked right out. Look how long they left all these things down here. Jeez, man. What if a guy should get all cutesy and come by and trim all these down some? Be easier to get some insulative material down there, but they're like 1/4 of an inch long, I swear. Well, I scratched my head for a while, and I come up with some of this here, green scrubby pads. I think I'll cut a couple squares, and I'll hot glue it in place, and that ought to keep this thing lifted up off of there and prevent it from shorting out. Now I got my little 3M scrubby pad down there, little hot glue on it, fantastical. Found a couple little solder joints that were weak, but this is basically how the sound of steam works. Remember, this wire is going up to that front where that cam is at off one of the rod assemblies. It's closing that switch, which is putting power from the center rail. So if I intermittently tap this to the center rail, I got my juice on my transformer here, we are going to get, ladies and gentlemen, 1972 sound of steam. Oh my God, that is just top notch. Absolutely top notch. But cool little car for its time. Great, loved it. Got the body drying over there right now, washed it up. Probably, I don't know why somebody added weight to this thing right there. I suppose it was, probably got to clean these wheels. They're picking up electrical juice also. We'll give them some mineral spirits and Q-tips. Oil these axles up. Get this body put back on. The front of this Loco is missing one of these little marker jewels right up here, which is kind of disappointing. And I decided, well, they gotta have something out there that's available. And I went to the Hobby Lobby and I found me some of these crystal beads. I'm gonna try to flick this one that's still in there out. And I'm gonna try to glue a couple of these little buggers in there to make this thing look prettier. Well, that was really quite easy to get that out. I just flicked it out with a screwdriver. Here's the new ones compared to the old one. So it's pretty gosh darn close. I think this is gonna work out well. Oh, sure. Now that we've got the repair done, let's put it on the track. See how nice it looks. That one did come out nice. And I think I got my catchphrase finally. Yeah, I think that's going to work. I think, yeah, just a little bit less than too much. If you enjoyed what you watched, consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up, throw some comments down there. I'm Ron. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.